How is it gonna feel when you win an NCAA title?
How do you work through an injury? If you could practice with any wrestler in the world, who would it be?
What are your plans after college?
Check. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we have a Q&A video, just super nonchalant, because especially this time of the year, it's postseason. A lot of you guys actually had like your regional, sectional, and state tournaments for you guys in high school. For me in college, we have regionals coming up in the next 2 weeks, and we have nationals about in a month from now. And I thought it'd be a good time of the year just to have a Q&A, just to have this out there. These are my answers to your guys' questions. But let's rise up first.
So how do you balance school and wrestling?
A lot of the times people think that you need to balance things in life, which it sounds good, right? It's almost like cliche, like, oh, make sure you're having a balanced lifestyle with your relationships, friends, family, your work, job, your school, your YouTube, whatever it is. I don't think balance really exists, mainly because you just do what needs to be done. I think if you try to balance it, sometimes you get so overwhelmed that it's just impossible to balance. I think it's just being present in the moment and knowing what you need to do. Like when you're doing school, you do school. When you're working, you work. When you're at the practice room, you're sitting here and you're practicing. You're not thinking, about editing a YouTube video, let's say for me, when I'm in here busting my butt, going live and just going hard, basically. So I think the word balance, it just cannot be used, if that makes sense. Can you get shoes? Definitely. Go to chgearwrestling.com. A lot of people want free shoes, and a lot of people see like me doing the takedowns for shoes, and I have a couple kids kind of always come up to me like after duels or something, or man, I probably like one too many DMs and messages wanting to get free shoes. And the thing is, trust me, I want to give away like as many shoes as I can, but right now and for the things that we have planned for the future, it's almost like we just have to stock up a little bit, especially because we put a lot of money down up front, but of course that came back like tenfold, which is amazing. But the way that we can progress and what we're looking towards to do, I definitely can give away more shoes, a lot more giveaways. I know that's one thing, I didn't even do a lot of giveaways yet with CH Gear, but that was basically, to build it up as to what it is right now. But eventually we can like literally use this as a springboard to even go way crazier, especially when I don't have, to be like competing and whatnot, and I can focus my full attention on that.
What are your plans after college?
So this is very interesting. So I've been at college for 5 years, right? And everyone asks me like, Cayden, what are you gonna do? Because everyone around me, it's like you go, like Parkside's a Division II school, right? The path for you, or at least the past guys, hasn't been to just continue competing, right? And use that as a career. Like when Nick, our head coach, he went and, compete at the US Open, like legit, like almost beat Mark Hall, and he was, on track to make like the national team in that way. And for those guys, they can do that. But for 99.9% of everyone who's been through this program and just people around me, it's like you go and you get a completely different job. It's really hard, I think, to really make a career out of wrestling, basically if you're not like a coach, like a head coach, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like, man, you got to pay for an apartment, you got to pay for your family, your food. For a lot of people, they pay for school, right? And have school loans. And thankfully, like, I am in an opportunity where, God has given me so many opportunities to advance my life and not have the stress of paying back like student loans. Like I don't even have to pay for school. I'm in a pretty great position right now, and I'm really blessed for that. So what's different about me is that taking wrestling in a more media sense, not being like hired by anyone. Of course, like I work with brands and stuff. That's a big monetizing factor that allows me to basically do what I do. But again, it's just like here on YouTube, TikTok pays pretty good. It's just like making content online in the wrestling world. So I want to entertain people, I want to inform people, of course, like build my personal brand and hopefully give back to in the way the wrestling community that which as a kid I would be like, hey, like that what that guy's doing is really cool. And so I just want to provide stuff in the wrestling world that no one has done, and something that you guys can love and get inspired by and motivate, and to really like chase your dreams and pursue greatness. So it's just like continuing with content and making it just 10 times better. I think there's so many opportunities and things that I can do and want to do, and my brain works like so fast, and like I don't care if it seems impossible. Like I'll find like a way to make it happen, which is kind of crazy. Even like the whole wrestling shoes, like, are you kidding me right now, guys? I'm sitting here with my own signature wrestling shoes. In a market that you only had to win an Olympic title or world title, that a brand like Nike or Asics or Adidas would even give you the time of day, Rudis, and then you can get your shoe. It's like you have to prove something to the world, right? And then you can do it. Which, of course, I think like there's a lot of success leaves clues, and I think accomplishing things allows you to do more things. No, I'm not an Olympic champion. I'm not a national champion yet. I'm not a world champion. But what I think I can do is I can bring an impact in a different way than people before me. And what I will say is, like, yes, I do YouTube pretty good, and I love doing content and stuff. I think I put a lot of time into it. But imagine when I put 100% of my effort into it and not a lot of my effort here competing, some effort in school. It's like I can just fully focus on growing wrestling. What's the best way to listen to music while wrestling? Funny thing is, you can actually wear earbuds under your headgear.
I've always wanted to test this out, and thanks to Raycon, we had to give it a go. Raycon offers countless options for protective case covers, so you can pick out which fits you best. And their latest model is better than ever, with up to 32 hours of battery life, so I'm never worrying about charging. To top it off, they also have a noise cancellation feature, which is a game changer for more affordable earbuds. I also love that they are sweat resistant, and the quick charge function allows me to get 90 minutes of battery in just 10 minutes of charging. I find these Raycon earbuds very comfortable, and I don't have to worry about them falling off, even when wrestling. I'm always listening to music during my pre-match routines, and you can do the same. Go to buyraycon.com/Cayden to get up to 20% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get up to 20% off everything on Raycon's website, including up to 20% off all headphones too, when you go to buyraycon.com/Cayden.
How do you get really better at wrestling? Because some people can know all the moves and still lose. That is a phenomenal question. I think a big thing is that if you think that you need one specific move, you're out there like trying to find the key to open the secret vault, right? And you're gonna keep searching. You'll be like, all right, what's the move? Oh, let me go to a different camp and see this move. Oh, that move looks crazy on Instagram. That's got to be the one to get me to the next level. Absolutely not. It's the basics. The basics win championships. So with that being said, it's like you need to pick out the moves in your arsenal. Like I would say like the top 3, heck, even the top 2 moves, and you only perfect those moves. Think about what are 5 different setups in order to get to this shot, to get to this finish, to score this amount of points. You can just focus on that and not focusing on, okay, he steps with this leg, this hand here. What's like the move on Instagram that I just saw to hit? Absolutely not. I think people just get overwhelmed with moves, and the secret is not in the flashiness. It's just to know your basics and be the very best person in the world at that move. Even if you aren't, you just have to believe it, and you have to keep blasting yourself with like, I'm gonna hit a double leg or a sweep single leg. That's the only thing I'm gonna hit. And you perfect it. Because the more times that you think about that, the more times you're gonna see that opening in a match, and you're gonna hit it with full force, and then you're gonna do work, and you're gonna get better at wrestling and win more matches. If you could practice with any wrestler in the world for a month, who would it be? Any wrestler in the world to practice with, I'm gonna be honest, give me Bo Bassett. Like, I trained with Spencer Lee, right? And of course, I would love to wrestle Spencer. And I've wrestled with a crazy ton of good guys like Gable Steveson, Bo Bartlett, Stevan Micic, like a lot of great guys I got to spend time around, David Carr. But I think, Bassett being, who he is and what people know him for, I think that'd be really cool, especially at this age in high school, to get a scrap in with him. And of course, like train, like with his 5 a.m. workouts and stuff. Definitely this summer and for the future, we'll definitely have to get together and film some content and do that. So it's a good question. How do you work through an injury? Well, the biggest thing is you don't want to re-injure the injury. I think that's the number one biggest mistake, is that people try to rush through the process and get back on the mat because they need to get training. They need to get better at wrestling. But the thing is, if that injury isn't like 100% healed, then it's like you're way more prone to getting it re-injured and you being out for a longer period. So wouldn't you want to be out for, let's say, 2 weeks to a month rather than, oh shoot, you're 3 months out. You still have that lingering injury from the beginning of the season. You have to take that time off to really heal everything so you can be your absolute best. So that should be your number one focus, but you got to be doing recovery. You got to be fueling yourself with the right things, getting proper sleep. I mean, just like the basic things you know are right that are often hard to do. But it's taking the time off to really recover, and that's how you work through an injury. What has been your favorite part about wrestling in college? My favorite part about wrestling in college is that it was a new mountain to climb. Like truly, the difference between high school and college wrestling. High school wrestling, if you, like, I thought high school wrestling was like rather easy, right? I think like at my weight, at my state, it wasn't like, you know, California where it's everything's one division, or, you know, I'm not saying Wisconsin wrestling was bad or anything, but I think for me and my skill level, it matched up very, very well. Like I think I bawled my eyes out for my first couple high school losses because I just couldn't imagine there anyone being better than me. And that was coming from a guy who never won state in youth. Like the best I got was third, but it was like I knew how good I was and what I was capable of accomplishing. And you know, my high school record was 181-13. But I say this because I go to college and holy cow, are these guys good? These guys are freaking grown men who are the stingiest at scoring, who will hold you on your back. You're gonna get punched across the face, like maybe not that crazy, but you know what I mean. Like it's completely different from the practices to you're on your own, everything is on you. And it was just a brand new mountain to climb. My first 2 years, I went like 13-15. So imagine going from 181-13 in 4 years to already having as many losses in my first 2 years. And that was like a big wake-up call to being like, wow, like this is tough, but I want to grind this out and I want to be the best I can, and I know I can get to the top. I know I can get to the top. And the thing is, you have to believe you are, even if you're not. And of course, it's like I can blast myself with confidence at being like, you know what, I beat everyone already. Like I am at the top. Of course, I think that's great to have proof, but just even if you're not, just believe it. Like why not? No one's gonna, if no one believes in you, who cares? The only thing that matters is if you believe in yourself. And so like as hard as challenging as that sounds and as that is, it actually like is fun. Chasing something and challenging yourself and pushing yourself. Because if you stay stagnant, that's how you get unhappy and depressed and you fall into like negative habits and addictions. Like life is like truly like you get happier as the more like you progress. What's the hardest part or challenge you had to go through when transitioning from high school to college? Definitely getting off bottom and then turns on top. That's a thing I'm still like working on to this day. 5 years later, you know, I got ridden out in 2 matches this year. It's like, dude, get off the bottom, you know? But I mean, that's still kind of a challenge, but also it's like, I know what to do. I just need to go out there and do it. But it's like a big physical factor, I think. It's not like how strong you are, how much you can bench press. It's the physical factor, fighting in the room and fighting for every position. How should I go about creating a wrestling channel of my own? You honestly just have to start. So one thing that I did when I wanted to create a wrestling channel was I was like, dude, why isn't there anyone like vlogging their like wrestling experience? And at the time, there were a couple people. There was, I'm gonna forget their names. There was Isaac Gomez, Cole Story, and Sam Pack, if any of you guys know those OG guys. But Sam Pack was actually like the first one that was like vlogging his actual like tournaments and meets. And I was like, man, this is so cool. It's almost like a journal, like you're journaling your life. And I was like, you know what? When I'm older, I definitely want to look back and see what I was doing in high school. Something that could show like my future wife and kids. That's like legit what I thought. And I just wanted to have something, I guess, to remember it by. And I was like, you know what, I can do YouTube because I loved watching YouTube and you can make a career out of it. I knew that very, very early on in high school. And so I think if there's one thing that I would say is like, fill the gap that you see is missing. So if you know how to do something better or different or in your own way, you fill that gap. Who I'm making this video for, don't make it for 1 million people. Don't make it for 100 million people. Make this video for one person and speak to that one person. It can seem like overwhelming at times, but truly, like I say to you, like by being authentic to yourself and truly like knowing who this video is for that you can make, that's how you're gonna win. You know, if you don't 100% want it, you're gonna find an excuse. But you know, if you truly want it, and if that's all you think about and want to do, like you'll find a way to make it happen. What was the moment you were most proud of yourself? I'm gonna take this away from wrestling. I'm gonna say when I asked my fiance out for the first time. We were in Belize, and I've never had like a girlfriend before, and I was just like the shy kid. Like a lot of you guys probably don't even know, but I'm like very, very, very shy, especially early on. Like I was probably the least likely guy to make a YouTube channel or do something like this. And still, like, it's, you know, nerve-wracking for me to go to new places and being around people, and because I'm just shy. So I say that because when I asked this girl out, like, you know, I was like, we were all in a room at a school field trip in Belize, and this was like at night. It was just like, you know, all the high schoolers hanging out. And I looked at her and I'm saying, hey, do you want to go on a walk? And I was like, dude, holy cow! I just talked to a girl. That was kind of crazy. And because, you know, you kind of can feel things out to see if she feels the same for you. I think I had. Oh, let me turn on the lights. So then, of course, we went on a walk and, you know, basically asked her out. So, and ever since then, I've never been happier, and she truly is the best partner in my life. So, love you, Kelsey. Does your college have a women's wrestling? Would it be open to adding a women's wrestling team? So we currently do not have one, but it was like in the talks, like even last year. I couldn't tell you when that would even be a possibility. I don't even see it in the next 3 years, but maybe 4, 5, 6. Like, you really don't know. I think if women's wrestling continues to grow, which I think it's amazing, it's doubling, you know, the growth of wrestling, I don't see why not. I think if Parkside gets a little bit more funding, unless to like expand the room, because like this room is amazing, but I think like more mat space, we're already like kind of like maxed out. So we'll see, but I think it will be cool. Do you take supplements? If so, what ones and what for? Absolutely. Shout out to Rise Supplements. Rise has been the company I've been promoting and working for. Absolutely amazing for the past over a year now. And so the best things that you should be taking, same things I'm taking, are A, creatine. Number 2 would be protein. Have a good protein powder. Or for me, it honestly really helps curve your cravings. My favorite flavors are the chocolate cookie blast, the cinnamon toast, and then my favorite, the Rise Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes. But you can do anything with protein powder, like put it in a Ninja Creamy, now you got ice cream, you got a protein shake. I put the chocolate cookie blast in my oatmeal every single morning. And then lastly, I would say hydration, because especially like after wrestling practices, like, you know, you probably lost like 5 to 7 pounds of water, especially at least for a college room, and hydrating yourself and getting like the right things, the right amount of sodium and electrolytes back in your system, make you feeling good. Hydration is also a must for you. And like always, you can use code Cayden. This directly supports me back in the channel. Use code Cayden to save 15% off, and that's Rise Supplements, linked in the description below. What is your favorite warm-up music? So far, in 99% of my matches this year, I've always listened to Lola Montez. So if you guys know, you know. But I also listen to a lot of like worship music, so like Phil Wickman, and Brandon Lake. But I also listen to Son of Man, like from Tarzan, I forget who sings, it's like Peyton Parrish, but it's almost like, not a death metal, but like a rock version of that song. So something to pump me up, but also like keep me calm. I think like being calm in the chaos is what has helped me a lot this year. What's your favorite part about having your own wrestling brand? So CH Gear is my own wrestling brand, of course, but then also for you guys who do not know, I am a part owner of Cauliflower Combat Gear, which is like actual wrestling apparel. So what I will say about having my own wrestling brand, as for the shoes, it's absolutely insane. It's like a dream come true. Like, I have a second locker now in the locker room with like 13 pairs of wrestling shoe samples, like that are never before seen yet. So I think that's like super cool. Like, I always want to share and like post photos on it, but I know it's just like not in my best interest, I guess. But it's cool, like when we have some recruits come, I'll like show them like a pair of samples, and it's kind of fun that way. But also in the locker room, I have 42 pairs of wrestling shoes, of my own wrestling shoes, in the locker room. So I definitely need to clean that out. But this business has truly been like so lucrative. Like, it's easier to sell a pair of wrestling shoes than like, let's say like a t-shirt. I think a lot of people see a wrestling shoe as like, wow, that is a product that you want to have, like a collectible, something that you can wear and, you know, really have like a feeling behind it. And I was a big sneakerhead, right? Like, I bought a decent amount of Jordan 11s when I was growing up. Have a decent amount of like Yeezys and stuff I bought a couple years ago. So I love shoes. I love that I can be so creative, and like everything like falls back on me and the brand of being like, dude, the only thing that's limiting myself is myself. And it's cool not having like brand guidelines to say like, you have to have this number of posts and you have to say this and do this. Like, I can sit here and tell you that these shoes suck, and you guys can still go out and maybe buy them. But these are actually the samples, so that's why they're probably pretty dirty. I wore these a decent amount already. But yeah, I love it. Have you thought about coaching after college? So yeah, of course, like that thought always comes in the back of my mind to be like a head coach. I think this is what you're referring to. I don't see myself ever being a head wrestling coach, mainly because I did YouTube to not be locked down to a 9-to-5. I didn't like want to like keep showing up to, you know, work for a business that maybe wasn't aligned with everything that I wanted to do. I think a lot of people sometimes like rush into a job or find that first job they get and be like, man, okay, like this is who I am. This is my career now, right? Like I have to get represented by this. But what I've created for myself and what you guys can basically do too, no one's stopping you, is to basically like have your interests and passions and literally make a career out of that. And of course, I want to be traveling, doing all sorts of different things. If I want to work, I can work. If I don't want to work, I don't have to. Of course, you have to be disciplined, but being like a coach like that, I of course would have, you know, obligations, and I would have, you know, people always kind of telling me what to do if problems arise that way, like being involved in an institution, things you can't control. I just like being able to control literally everything what I'm doing. So of course I'll be like, I would love to, you know, run camps. That's what I've been doing for the past couple years, and, you know, help out and give back to where I can with the wrestling reviews and even the WrestleWorks and stuff. But I don't see myself ever becoming an actual coach, I guess. Is CH Gear expanding, or is it only shoes? This is very, very interesting. We definitely will have more products on the site, but I don't know what that will look like. So it's not gonna be like apparel, because we have that through the Cauliflower Combat Gear right now, but definitely more shoes, more shoe releases, but a couple different things that we've been deciding, debating, and long story short, yes, eventually. How is it gonna feel when you win an NCAA title? Now this is a very, very important question, because I like the way he asked, how is it gonna feel? I think a big thing about accomplishing what you guys like set forth is you already have to be in the feeling of having already attained what you seek. You know, there's a quote in the Bible, ask and it will be given to you, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be opened unto you. So I have that actually on my vision board at the bottom. I read it every single day. And so I think a big part of, you know, goal setting and things like that is that if it's in God's will, it will be done, right? I think we know that. So ask and it will be given to you. So like pray on it, seek and you will find. You know, what are you gonna have to do? I'm gonna go to practice, I'm gonna compete in live wrestling, I'm gonna do the extra work, I'm gonna believe in myself. Knock and the door will be opened onto you. So just like, you know, show up, trust the process, trust God. And heck, I know that accomplishments and stuff, they don't define me necessarily. I know who I am and my value and my worth in Christ. You don't have to have a state title or national title to basically tell you your worth, right? I think that was a big thing early on, you know, prior to me winning a high school state title, is I thought that, man, if I won state, my life would be set. That was the biggest thing in the world for me. And a week after that happened, I was like, wow, what's next? And so I think like that's human nature, to always be wanting more and to be so fixated on something. And a lot of times when people don't get it, that could be the best thing to ever happen to them, because then they still have that hunger to strive for something else. So if you attain something like a high goal, oftentimes it's like, oh wow, my whole life I worked for this for the past 5 years, I won it, now I'm just gonna be fat, get addicted to social media and video games, and I'm just not gonna strive for anything else. But again, I'll go back to the saying of basically being like, I feel right now how I will feel after winning an NCAA title. Like just grateful, full of gratitude, wanting to like give back, just thankful for all these opportunities. Like, yeah, I think just the word grateful just sums it up. I think attitude of gratitude is number one. So that's gonna end off the Q&A. Thank you guys so much for watching. I think I should definitely do this again. These questions were all on my Henschel's Hammers Instagram, so make sure you're following me over there on Instagram so that you guys can have your questions answered there as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next video.
Let me know if you on skate. Rollin' with a gang. Totally, man, you shade. Told it with a gang.